Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. We'll just wait a couple of minutes for people to come online onto the webinar today, and then we'll be starting in a couple more minutes. Great, well, let's get started, and as more attendees join, they can jump in with the webinar as we continue on. So welcome, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be. This is the Supporting Off-Grid Solar Appliances and Productive Uses of Energy Technologies webinar, where you'll be learning a little bit more about how the three organizations represented, GOGLA, Efficiency for Access, and PREO, are helping to support productive use and appliance companies, and to learn about some of the services and initiatives that will hopefully be able to benefit your organizations. Just a little bit of housekeeping. We have live Chinese translation today in Mandarin. So if you are visiting us from China, please do press the interpretation button in the bottom right corner of the screen. And welcome. It's really great to have companies from China joining us today. For everybody, we will also have an opportunity to ask questions of the panelists and to contribute to the discussion today. So please do add your questions into the chat specific box for that. We will be taking those at the end. And if you have a question that's specific to one of the particular panelists that you hear from today or their organization, please do mention their name or organization in your question so that I can make sure to direct it most appropriately. So we'll be learning a little bit about the services that GOGLA, my organization, provides, particularly focusing in on a couple of different services. There's the Off-Grid Solar Forum coming up and our flagship data collection that we will be also opening to non-members as well as members. We'll be hearing from the Efficiency for Access Coalition about some of their initiatives and services, for example, their research and development funds and their quality assurance program. And lastly, we'll learn about the PREO program and the work that it's doing to support productive use in appliance companies. My name's Susie Wielden. I'm the head of communications at GOGLA. My colleagues Oliver and Patricia will be running through the GOGLA slides that you'll hear today. We are very happy and delighted to be joined by Bajun and Abigail from the Efficiency for Access Coalition, representing energy savings trusts and class respectively, as well as Jonathan Booth, who is from the Carbon Trust, but representing the PREO program. So with that, I'll hand over to our panelists so they can tell you more about the work that we all do. And I'll start with Patricia, handing over to you.
Thank you, Susie, for the introduction. So I'll take you through what GOGLA does and the services that we offer our members. So GOGLA is the Global Association for the Off-Grid Solar Energy Industry. We currently have over 200 members. Our members are grouped into two. We have industry members and associate members. So industry members are the manufacturers and distributors of solar energy kits and appliances. We also have service providers in this group. Our associate members include investors, national renewable energy associations. We have governments, research institutions, and the rest. So the ecosystem that supports our industry members. So our mission is to support our members operate buoyant, sustainable, scalable, and impactful off-grid solar businesses. So during this webinar, we will show you how we can support your business. So I'll walk through a few of the key services that we offer our members, and one is facilitate connections. So a key role that GOGLA plays is convening the industry and all its stakeholders by bringing development partners together with off-grid companies, investors, and policy makers. We do this in our events, different discussion forums, and also via our communications. So for example, we have flagship events like the Global Off-Grid Solar Forum and Expo that anyone can join. And our members also get access to these events at discounted prices. We also have the Unlocking Solar Capital Africa. And also our members do get access to our annual general meeting where they get to meet with peers, investment, development partners. They also get to take part in nominations and elections for our BOD. So a key opportunity I'd like to profile is the Global Off-Grid Solar Forum and Expo. The last edition in 2020 had over 1,200 attendees. It was held in Nairobi, and it involved key stakeholders from the public sector, as well as investors and companies. So this forum is a good opportunities for the sector to network, broker deals, meet peers, learn, showcase products, and of course also have some fun. So the upcoming forum is in October. It will be held in Rwanda, in Kigali. It will be between the 18th and 20th of October, and it will be at the Kigali Convention Center. As attendees to this webinar, you can benefit from a 10% discount on your entry ticket. So watch out for an email that we're going to send out after this webinar, where we'll also share the discount code for this. If you'd like to know more about the forum, we have the link to the website down there. And you can look through the website and see the registration details and everything about that. Part of also what I'll be sharing in the email is the opportunities for exhibition and sponsorship. So I'll attach our brochures for that in the email, and you can read a bit more. If you need further information, reach out to me and I will guide you and also introduce you to our events team. Lastly, I'd like to highlight how we help our members develop their businesses. So as a GOGLA member, you can also leverage our learning and business development tools like the Off-Grid Solar Investment Academy and best practices on a variety of issues like e-waste and consumer protection. Another great resource that we offer our members is the Leadership Advice Network. This network allows GOGLA members to match with peers, stakeholders, and mentors to help them share challenges, how they can improve their businesses, and how they can thrive. So if you're looking to learn more about the sector, the wider benefits of this network will be the place for you to be. And of course, also you do get access to the experience of our staff in areas like policy and regulation, performance and investment, and communication. Now I'll hand over to Oliver, who will talk about a few more of our work areas. Thank you.
Thank you, Patricia. Hi, everyone. Yeah, so I'll take you through a few more of what we do at GOGLA, and I'll start off with our policy advisory work. So we have a policy and regional reps team at GOGLA that are available to help you work on issues that affect your business at the national level or global level. A recent example of that work is what our team did with partners to successfully reverse the government of Kenya's decision to remove the VAT exemption on solar. And we're currently working with governments to expand the duty and tax exemptions that already exist for solar to water pumps and cooling technologies as well. So one way you can help us kind of shape how we interact with policymakers is joining our working groups. And we've recently created a new working group on productive use of energy, which is working right now via a project on shaping global and country level roadmaps to for PUE to kind of help governments improve the environment for PUE, especially on solar irrigation, cooling, agri solutions, and other technologies. You can also, we also have something called the Community of Champions, which is a network of 23 African and South Asian policymakers that champion energy access in their countries. And through GOGLA, you have the opportunity to dialogue with this cohort. And with them, we work to create sustainable markets for off-grid solar appliances and PUE companies, and help those countries meet their energy access and development goals through that. So another structural role that we play as an industry association is that we work with our members to develop and co-create standards and best practices for the sector. A cornerstone of that work has been the Consumer Protection Code. Many companies in the sector have already adhered to it. I'm sure certain of you on this call are familiar with it. But we also have best practices on e-waste, insights on innovation, quality assurance, circularity, which you can all find on our website. Another specific piece that's particularly relevant to our audience today, I think, is the Connect initiative, which is a focus on increasing interconnectivity or interoperability in the sector. And yeah, which is key for enabling essentially appliances to be used with a greater range of off-grid solar products. So we hope an area that many of you might be interested in getting involved in. Next slide, please. And GOGLA also plays a role in helping attract more investment to the sector. So we do that through information and market intelligence that we publish. We have a deals database that tracks investment going into companies in the sector, which we're currently working on a online dashboard for, which will be available at least in the short term to our investor members, but we hope available to a broader public after that. We also have something called the GOGLA Bridge, which is on the GOGLA website, a section where you can find about opportunities, so funding opportunities, TA opportunities, including some from organizations such as Efficiency for Access and PREO, which they will talk about a bit more later. Another interesting recent development from that work is we have something called the PEGO Perform KPIs, which are a set of indicators that track company performance in the PEGO sector. They look at portfolio quality, they look at financials, they look at unit economics. So these right now have been maybe a bit more focused on the solar energy kits, but we want to expand that work to standalone appliances, PUE appliances, and we hope that with the help of companies in the sector such as yourselves, we can extend the initiative to those solutions as well. Next slide, please. All right, so now I get to talk about the part that I actually work on as market insights and data manager at GOGLA. So you're probably most familiar, if you're familiar with us, with our sales and impact data reports, which we publish every 6 months. So this is work we do in partnership with ESMAP and Efficiency for Access. So we collect and share data, as I said, every 6 months. So the publicly visible part of that is the reports that we publish every 6 months that bring awareness and visibility to industry, showcase the industry's impact, inform key stakeholders who have the ability to support our industry about what the status of the market is. And eventually this data feeds into other reports such as the market trends report, which is published every 2 years by the World Bank in partnership with GOGLA. As well as feeding into the SDG 7 trackers and other key publications. But beyond the public report, companies that share data with us, and this is not limited to our members, but to what we call GOGLA affiliates. So either companies that are our members or have Verisol quality verified products, which my colleagues will talk about later on. Or engaged in the layer program, which once again, Bijou and Abigail will talk about. All those companies can participate. And so what you get through that participation is beyond the public report, you get access to bespoke tools. We have an online dashboard where you can slice and dice the data any which way you want, and therefore benchmark your performance to the industry at a market level, looking at specific types of products, looking at pay-go or cash, et cetera, and look at your market volumes, market value, impact, also compare your impact to that of peers. So there's plenty you can do there. And the more the companies participate in this effort, the better the outputs. So yeah, we really encourage you to take part in this. It's quite a light lift. It's a simple questionnaire that's filled in by companies twice a year, and once you filled it once, we save and preload as much of your data as possible, so you only have to update a few sales figures every 6 months. So yeah, it'll be great to connect with you around this topic if you're interested. Before I hand over, I won't go into the detail on obviously there's a lot more things that we do at GOGLA that we won't have time to talk about here, but we do a lot to help you communicate. We do a lot to help you showcase your impacts, showcase your products. We amplify your stories, and we're always happy to share more about all this and to explore how specifically we can help you as a business. But for now, I'll hand over to Bejun and to talk about efficiency for access.
Thanks, Oliver. Hi, I'm Bejun Bakrania from Energy Saving Trust, and I'm going to be talking to you about efficiency for access, both the coalition and the Efficiency for Access Research and Development Fund. So Efficiency for Access is a global coalition promoting affordable, high-performing and inclusive appliances, and aims to enable access to energy to people living in weak or off-grid areas of emerging markets. The Efficiency for Access Coalition is jointly coordinated by CLASP, an international appliance energy efficiency and market development specialist, and the UK's Energy Saving Trust, which specialises in energy efficiency, product verification, data and insight, advice and research. The coalition is co-chaired by UK Aid and IKEA Foundation and is made up of a variety of members, including, for example, USAID, Get Invest, Power Africa, and several other philanthropic foundations. And throughout our network, the coalition has programs and initiatives across 54 countries and 26 key technologies. The coalition is a catalyst for change, and through supporting the solar appliance sector, it has recorded impacts in the form of boosted incomes, reduced carbon emissions, improved quality of life, and accelerated the achievement of several SDGs. Then we have the Low Energy Inclusive Appliances, also known as LEIA program, LEIA, which is a flagship initiative of Efficiency for Access. And the LEIA program aims to accelerate the availability, affordability, efficiency and performance of a range of low energy inclusive appliances for off and weak grid settings in developing markets. Next, thank you. So the Efficiency for Access Research and Development Fund sits under the LEIA program, and it essentially has two aims. So the first is to fill the gaps in funding for mostly early stage off and weak grid appliance technologies through open calls for funding, focused calls, and direct grant funding. And by early stage technology, R&D, I mean kind of projects that involve demonstration of technology and business model solutions in the form of kind of pilot lab and field testing or at a research level that then lead to the development of markets for low energy inclusive appliances. And the second aim is to build partnerships across the ecosystem that accelerate R&D activity, unlock R&D investment, and enable greater cooperation and linkages between relevant stakeholders in the industry. So we've had 3 funding calls so far. So the open call back in 2018 was to support the most promising technologies in the broader off-grid appliances sector, and we've supported technologies such as a DC iron, a solar mill, remote monitoring technologies, and efficient motors, and much more. And we also supported a few clean cook stove projects in partnership with the Modern Energy Cooking Services Programme under that call. Then we had the calling call, which was launched in June 2019. And
还有这个降温倡议，这个倡议的话，主要是这个专注于这种冰箱和制冷等这种技术。
Supported 14 projects with technologies including cold storage, fans, ice makers, and several innovations in refrigeration technologies. And then the third call we held closed in March 2020, and that focused on technologies that enabled the uptake of off-grid appliances, but with the focus on inclusivity. So technologies and business models benefiting marginalized groups such as women or people with disabilities, for example. And we also focused on interoperability, so of appliances. So as we've kind of entered a smarter world where technologies are becoming increasingly more compatible and connected. And technologies under this call that was supported range from medical appliances, so we've supported a vital signs monitor, to egg incubators, to e-mobility, and even solar-powered washing machines, and again, much more. And you can find out all about them on our website. Most of the project field testing locations have been in sub-Saharan Africa and a few in Southeast Asia. Sorry, thanks. So it's important to acknowledge that we have all seen the impacts of COVID-19 on the companies, and particularly for us on the companies that we've supported. And we managed to pivot a small amount of funds to support the locally led companies at the outset of the pandemic, as we really did realize a gap in support to product developers and manufacturers. Unfortunately, as you all may be aware, supply chain disruptions continue, and increases in costs associated with components and shipping really have created a challenging environment for product developers to grow, and other players in the sector. Of course, there is no one solution to this, and it's brought about learnings for all stakeholders in the off-grid industry. But as a fund, we really do recognise the need for patient capital and look forward to supporting innovations that are shaped by long-term views and can make business models and technologies more resilient to global shocks going forward. Recently, we actually partnered with Get Invest to provide technical assistance to 4 companies from our portfolio in an effort to increase their resilience around COVID-19. It has simultaneously been an exciting new addition to the fund's work, and has involved supporting companies with pre-investment readiness support in the form of sales and marketing, financial viability, business model, and research and testing. And looking forward, the R&D fund, it plans to launch a call hopefully by the end of the year to support emerging technologies. And we will look to build out this technical assistance offering to provide business development and support and address that gap between early stage technology funding and then business scale up investment readiness, because we do recognise there is a gap there. And we'll also continue to build on our partnerships and networks to provide a strong ecosystem for companies and players across the industry to continue to learn, innovate, collaborate and grow. Next slide, please. Thanks. So each year, Efficiency for Access, in collaboration with our partner, the Global Distributors Collective, GDC, hosts a remote trade show which brings together GDC members to learn more about commercially viable, high-performing off-grid appliances. Manufacturers showcase their products with the opportunity for last-mile distributors to provide feedback and explore opportunities. To date, 14 manufacturers have showcased their appliances this year, and this year in July, hopefully towards the end of July. The date is yet to be confirmed. We are planning to host our trade show in collaboration with the GDC and the Clean Cooking Alliance to explore some of the wide variety of options available for clean cook stoves. Distributors, funders, and regulatory organisations will be able to ask questions, provide feedback, and look at future possibilities to expand clean cooking in the global south. So please do keep an eye out for Efficiency for Access newsletter and social media channels to find out more and to keep an eye out for the date for this. Thank you very much. And now I'll pass on to Abigail from PREO.
Thank you, Bejan. Hello, everyone. I'm Abigail Kuria. I work with CLASP, and I'll be taking you through several programs under the Efficiency for Access Coalition that serves to support off-grid solar product suppliers. The first being the Globally Awards competition, which is an international competition that seeks to identify the world's most energy efficient, highest quality off-grid appliances that are intended for use in energy constrained settings. Since 2014, we've had 12 competitions and challenges that have supported various solutions such as solar water pumps, refrigerators, fans, e-waste, electric pressure cookers, and most recently, walk-in cold rooms. Products are evaluated for energy efficiency, service delivery, price, as well as durability. And the main output of this competition is the buyer's guide that lists out the products, the winners and finalists of the competition, as well as the supplier's contact information and the performance metrics of each of the products. We also have the Global Leap Awards and results-based financing program that provides financial incentives to appliance suppliers and off-grid solar companies that partner to distribute large quantities of winner and finalist products from the Global Leap Awards competitions in target markets. The main aim of the RBF program is to increase the uptake of energy efficient and high quality appliances. And how we do this is by one, lowering the cost to procure large volumes of off-grid appliances for early mover off-grid solar companies, as well as facilitating new business partnerships for appliance suppliers. Next slide, please. So far, we have run 3 rounds of results-based financing. This is for fans, for televisions, for refrigerators, and for solar water pumps and electric pressure cookers in various markets across East and West Africa and also Bangladesh. So we have so far, through the Global Leap Awards RBF program, disbursed $4 million and supported the sale of over 280,000 off-grid solar products, reaching over 1.3 million beneficiaries. CLASP is currently setting up a new multi-million-dollar financing facility for off-grid solar appliances that will be launched in the second half of the year. To find out more about ongoing and upcoming competitions, you can submit your product at the email address provided. Slide, please. So the Efficiency for Access also convenes technology working groups, and these bring together technology experts and stakeholders such as manufacturers, distributors, academics, and other researchers and standards organizations. And through these technology working groups, we receive input from the stakeholders mentioned on these technologies and use that knowledge to inform the design of market development programs. Over the last few years, we have convened solar water pump and refrigerator technology working groups. And if interested in joining the solar water pump technical working group, you can reach out to me at the email address provided. And you can also reach out to my colleague, Wendy Hedo, to join the refrigerator technical working group at the email address provided. In the future, we also plan to convene groups around other PUE technologies, that's productive use technologies. If you're interested in joining, you can reach out to us at the email address provided. Another program that under the Efficiency for Access that serves to support off-grid solar product suppliers is the Verasol program. So Verasol is an evolution of the Lighting Global Quality Assurance program, and it supports off-grid solar solutions that are high performing and seek to expand modern energy services. So Verasol strives to make durable, affordable, and safe products the default in the market. So what is the importance of why get your products Verasol tested? First, this would help in benchmarking your product's performance. So manufacturers can partner with Verasol to assess their product's performance and also see how their products perform against their competitors and use this in making smarter product development decisions. You can also learn how your product performs under varying conditions. And this we undertake through usability testing or field testing, where we seek to understand how products perform under various environments as well as under various use cases. You would also, once getting your products Verasol tested, become eligible for various bulk procurements, results-based financing programs, as well as working capital funds and other financing initiatives that are run by various development partners. You would also be able to participate in the Globally Awards competition, as well as the Globally Awards results-based financing programs. And once your products are Verasol tested, they would be listed on the Verasol database. And this is a tool that various bulk buyers, procurement agencies, development partners use to source products for their programs. You will also be demonstrating your commitment to producing good quality goods. And also certified products gain entry into important markets such as Ethiopia, Kenya, Tanzania, and Rwanda. Therefore, you would be complying with importation requirements. So to submit your products or plans for testing, you can reach out to us at the email address provided. And if you would like to view and compare the hundreds of quality off-grid solar products that we've tested so far, you can go to the Verasol product database at the link that's been provided. Slide, please. Another way that we help to support off-grid solar product suppliers grow their business is by sharing sales opportunities on the Verasol website, as you can see there to your right. That is the opportunities page where we share sales opportunities, and these are different RBF programs, grants, as well as tenders, amongst other financing or other initiatives that would help to grow your businesses. We also share this opportunity.
发展，而且我们也还会分享一些，通过邮件发送的机遇和提示。如果大家想看到一些最新的行业消息。
Thank you all for your time, and we look forward to supporting you grow your business. I'll now hand over to Jonathan Booth of PREO.
Hi everyone, thank you. Yeah, so today I'll speak about PREO, the PREO program. I'm Jonathan Booth. Yeah, so what is PREO? What do we do? Sort of as depicted by this slide. PREO is a productive use of energy focused program that's co-funded by IKEA Foundation and UK Aid. The program started in 2019 and under current funding arrangements will run until 2026. PREO is co-managed by the Carbon Trust, where I work, which is a UK-based climate change consulting company with a number of global offices. I'm based in South Africa. Our head office is in London. And Energy for Impact is the other organization who manages PREO, who we manage PREO with. They are also UK-based energy access orientated NGO, who have recently merged with Mercy Corps, the large American-based NGO. PREO provides grants to small and medium-sized businesses who are looking to test or deploy a productive use of energy-based business model. And for the most part, these businesses would be in off-grid areas and would source electricity from on-site generation or mini-grids. And in all cases so far, in all the projects we funded, this has been solar-based electricity. Most businesses that we fund are in the pilot or early growth stage, and we are sector agnostic. And all of our grantees are in sub-Saharan Africa, except for South Africa, which is sort of not regarded as having an energy access problem, so to speak. In return for providing small businesses with grant funding, we collect financial and impact-related data from our grantees. So when I say impact-related data, that's sort of in relation to the impact which projects are having on communities, specifically things like jobs created, amount of sort of additional investment brought into communities, etc. And we analyze this data collected from our projects and produce annual reports, which showcase the business models of our grantees and the financial and non-financial impact created by our grantees. These reports and then other sector-specific reports that we produce aim to break down barriers to entering and or investing in the various productive use of energy subsectors. And when I say other sector-specific reports, we'll soon be launching an e-mobility report in the coming months. Later in the year, we'll be launching a solar irrigation-based report, which sort of provides deep dives into those sectors and showcase the projects that we fund in those sectors in sort of fairly granular detail. Lastly, we also provide technical assistance to our own grantees and to other companies operating in the productive use of energy space in relation to pretty much any business model problem being faced by those companies, so long as the problem that needs solving sort of aligns with our skill sets contained in the Carbon Trust and E4I. So if you currently run a productive use of energy business in sub-Saharan Africa and are looking for technical assistance, please do reach out to us. Yeah, if we can jump to the next slide. So we currently fund 23 projects in 10 different countries. As mentioned, we're sector agnostic. Yeah, and so we fund projects in multiple sectors. So just to give you a bit of insight into some of these projects, I won't run through all of them as examples, yeah, on the types of projects that we fund. In the Eastern DRC, in Goma, we fund a company called Cafe Kivu, which runs a coffee roasting business. They have an off-grid coffee roasting machine, which is powered by the mini grid in Goma. And obviously they're buying raw coffee beans from local farmers, roasting it, adding value in Goma, as opposed to exporting the raw material, yeah, and having value added to that raw material in more developed markets. And so obviously the benefit there is sort of greater economic activity sort of in the coffee value chain in Goma, so to speak, and job creation. And they provide a coffee roasting machine is quite energy intensive, so they take large amounts of electricity off the Goma mini grid. In Kenya, as another example, we provided early stage grant funding to Rome, which was called OPBus up until a few weeks ago. And it's a business which I'm sure many of you are familiar with. And so we provided grant funding with them in sort of 2019, 2020. And we believe that funding has sort of helped them to establish a business model. And in recent months, they've grown very quickly with sort of substantial equity investments and through sort of other partners like Uber. Last example I'll give is also in Kenya, we fund Soko Fresh and Inspira Farms. These are both first mile agricultural cooling companies where they put in container-based cooling solutions on the farm, allows smallholder producers to bring their products or to a cold storage unit in a short space of time. So reduces wastage of crops significantly. Yeah, and allows smallholder farmers to earn more revenue from their crops, and then allows the buyers to buy better quality crops, and they in turn fetch higher prices when selling on into the markets. Okay, let's jump to the next slide. So this last slide just provides a bit of insight into the successes some of our projects have had in these three different sectors, and the kinds of project results, the kind of project results that we showcase in our annual reports. So I think in these three sectors, we've clearly demonstrated that productive use of energy businesses have the potential to generate very healthy profit margins and result in significant impact. So I think if you look at e-mobility there, for instance, on the left, a boda driver can sort of achieve 68% lower running costs and 33% lower service and maintenance costs on an electric motorbike in comparison to an internal combustion engine motorbike. And a business that we fund in Sierra Leone that rents out electric motorbikes achieved a 29-month payback period through their lease model. In the middle there, yeah, you can see that. So this is these are the first mile cooling projects which I spoke about. Inspira Farms in Kenya achieved a break even at 72% utilization of the cooling unit, and improved the volumes that they put through their business by 33%. I'll come back to the questions. Healthcare, we funded two different healthcare projects. The increase in revenue in each of these cases was only sort of an additional $250 per month, but these projects resulted in significant social sort of impact, where you're decreasing the downtime of clinics, allowing more patients to be served in the course of a day, so you're decreasing the downtime and extending the running hours through lighting, and then you're allowing for the introduction of telemedicine, so doctors are able to provide much more comprehensive services to patients. So then to close off my presentation, I'm sure many of you are interested in applying for PREO funding. So just to let you know that over the next 3 years, we'll be providing sort of around £3 million of grant funding through the number of funding rounds. Most of our grants are sort of on the range of £100,000 to £200,000, and we require grant applicants to bring at least 50% co-funding, which could be in the form of cash, sweat equity, or other donor funding. Then we have a great website, which I'd encourage you to visit, PREO.org. I think you'll see the address just now. And we have a newsletter. You can subscribe to our newsletter on the website, through which you'll learn about our future funding rounds and our reports and report launches. We have webinars when we launch reports. That's me. Thank you.
Thanks, Jonathan. I think you've got a couple more slides that I'll go over, but
okay.
No,
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Let's just jump to the end.
What I could do on this slide, just quickly, because you're on the line, there's a couple of questions in here for you, but maybe we can just quickly pause on those before I talk to the share questions with the wider group. But just wondering if PREO funds NGOs, as a question that's come through the chat, as whether whether PREO funds mezzanine debt and equity and those kind of different investment and funding opportunities, as well as grants. So is that something you might be able to respond to just now while we still have you?
Yeah, no, sure. So we do fund NGOs. We have funded a couple of NGOs. For the most part, our grantees are sort of private sector businesses. But as an example, we're providing funding to HEF International in Uganda, and that's a dairy milk cooling project. But I think we are interested in the sort of commercialization of business models. And so if NGOs are looking to develop business models or opportunities which are capable of becoming standalone commercial businesses, yes, then we are interested. But if an NGO business model is sort of going to be reliant on grant funding for sort of a long time, then we'd probably be less interested. In terms of sort of mezzanine and other types of funding, we wouldn't provide the facility ourselves, but something we have thought about is sort of working with sort of more commercially orientated financiers to sort of guarantee loans or help reduce interest rates, those sorts of to provide that sort of support. But our own grant funding is directed at sort of early stage businesses who aren't able to access more commercial financing.
Great, thanks so much, Jonathan. I'll just quickly run through these couple of slides. Within that, you'll be receiving this deck as attendees to the webinar. So there's going to be contact details in here. You can see the contact details in here for Oliver and Patricia, as well as for Bijan and Abigail, and then also the contact details for PREO as well. So those will be coming to you, so don't worry too much that I just whiz through those before you're able to note them down. But yes, of course, with that, we'll open up for more questions. And I already see a few coming through the chat as well as through the Q&A. So I'll just run over to the chat first of all. And I see a couple of questions from Sherry, who is asking if there are webinars which come out of the working groups that were discussed in terms of their achievements, as well as whether SDG 7 tracking the contribution of off-grid solar energy and appliances is tracked against SDG 7, where that can be found. So just quickly jumping in from the GOGLA side, the productive use of energy working group that we've recently launched is quite focused on policy. and the outcomes of that will be very specific to roadmaps that those working groups, that working group is looking at to try and create very practical and tangible next steps in terms of increasing the amount of productive use, off-grid productive use technologies within specific countries. So there will be something in the future on those, but not sort of a webinar at this point. It's a bit too early stage. And we also, the SDG 7 tracking is in a report that is done by ESMAP as one of the custodians of SDG 7. We also provide data to the IEA, where they also do tracking of SDG 7. And we have an upcoming market trends report, which is something that we release with ESMAP and the IFC, as well as this year, the Efficiency for Access Coalition, where we also are looking at the progress of off-grid solar energy kits, you know, lanterns and home systems, as well as those appliances and productive use technology. So those would be the resources I would point you to there. But let me hand over to Abigail as well in terms of your working groups. Abigail, I know that you have a couple of technical groups and you might have different outputs.
Thanks, Susie. Yes, we do have different technology working groups. And so far, we haven't had webinars that would like collate the information that we've, or the conclusions from the various technology working groups, and, you know, that we could share with everyone else. It's mostly been, you know, each technology working groups just discussing any challenges or developments that they would like to see in the industry. But this is something that we could discuss and maybe find a way in future to share, you know, the output of these technology working groups with a wider team through our webinar.
Fabulous, thanks, Abigail. We also have a question which is for all panelists, so maybe have a little think if you can put your hand up for this one, but what is the status of consumer finance in regards to productive use of energy products? And how can the sector bring MFIs and other financial institutions to provide more inclusive end user finance? Is anyone able to jump in on that one?
Maybe I could quickly mention for the financing facility that CLASP will be launching in the second half of the year, which will be concentrating on productive use equipment. CLASP will be concentrating on productive procurement subsidies and will be partnering with MITHIO that will be specializing in providing consumer financing, and which will be flowing either through the distributors or through third-party financiers. So can look out for that in possibly July or August of this year.
That's really exciting to learn. Indeed, I think, you know, sort of matching the products with the availability of funds that the consumers have is a key challenge for some of the appliances and productive use of energy technologies. And as with the initiative you just described, Abigail, I think there's quite a few people now thinking about this and looking at it. So I'm hopeful that there'll be more initiatives coming through in the months and years ahead. But yeah, fantastic to see that you're already focused on that through the initiative you just described. Trying to open up my Q&A button, but for some reason it's not quite allowing me to. Oliver, are you able to see the question in the Q&A that is hiding from me?
Sure. This is a question from Nicholas. Saying, good day everyone, my name is Nicholas, representing EcoWatt Nigeria Limited. We are all about energy management and energy efficiency in the Nigerian sector. My question is, how do we become a vendor under your great platform? And also, what are the benefits we can gain from being under your organizations? I don't know who wants to start with that one.
And I'm happy to speak sort of in relation to PREO. So I mean, in terms of being a vendor, PREO, it doesn't really sort of typically work with a vendor sort of based model. But yeah, I mean, we provide grant funding. In terms of opportunities to work with us, I mean, yeah, as I sort of mentioned, if your business is in the productive use of energy space, we sort of certainly available to help with technical assistance, sort of if there's a need which aligns with our capabilities. Yeah, and yeah, I mean, we sort of host webinars. When we have our website, we have sort of various platforms where through which companies like yourselves would be able to engage with us on any number of topics. So we've got an email address. So yeah, if there's anything specific, please just do reach out to us.
I can also come in. So yeah, similar to kind of what Jonathan said, Efficiency for Access Research and Development Fund is a similar model. So it's grant funding we provide depending on the technology and business model being developed. But under kind of the wider layer program, we do offer other kind of services for companies, so product testing, for example, and opportunities to engage in research. Thank you.
Yeah, Susan, sorry, let me just lastly to add on membership benefits. I think Oliver and I have gone through that, and we'll share, as Susie mentioned, we'll share the slides so that you can see that in greater detail. However, I'll also put a link to our membership page. So there you can see further membership benefits, how to apply for a GOGLA membership, and the annual fees that we charge for that. And I'm happy to take a call on another day and we can discuss more. Yeah.
Fabulous, thanks, Patricia. Another question coming in from Jakob to all panelists, but I think Bijan and Jonathan in particular. Is there any collaboration happening between the Layer R&D Fund and the PREO program at the moment in terms of then, unlocking the benefits of wider energy access if the lessons are being shared and learned between the two programs?
To be honest, limited to date. We have sort of engaged with Layer in the past, and I think there are opportunities to collaborate further, and something we definitely need to look at more closely. But yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I think I'm aware of some kind of coordination at times in terms of, especially I think, technical assistance, where if it's not something we've been able to support, we've kind of been in contact with PREO colleagues and liaise that way to see where PREO can provide support.
Fabulous. And then Abigail, one for you here, how to become a class member and how to join. I think you mentioned the Verisol program. I wonder if you can expand a wee bit.
Okay. Yeah, so once Susie shares the presentation links, the presentation, you can see links on how you could reach out to us and let us know about the products that you're providing, and we could, partner in testing your products or letting you know, like the various kind of testing programs that we have under Verisol, and we can discuss how to partner. But yeah, you could just reach out to us through the email address provided in the slides.
Fabulous. Thanks, Abigail. Oliver, I'm afraid I'm still struggling with my Q&A button, but I see someone else has popped another question in there. Would you be able to share?
It's just a thank you note, actually, rather than a question.
Right. Fabulous, good. And yeah, I see there is perhaps another question coming through, perhaps from Gert, who's got a hand raised indeed, but hasn't. I'm afraid, yeah, we aren't able to unmute you to speak. So if you are able to share that question into the chat or the Q&A box. And then just a last call for any further questions. Give you a couple of seconds, Gert, to put your question through. If not, it just remains for me to say thank you so much to all of the panelists for sharing all their insights. And indeed, the deck will be passed on to all of the attendees of the meeting. All of the contact details are in there, and also the website addresses. So we look very much forward to hearing from some of you more directly after this. And a huge thanks to everyone who has attended the session. Really great that you have joined us today, and we look very much forward to engaging with you further. So thank you to everyone, and have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you.